Hi everybody, Thursday morning today, crypto trade of the day, here we go. Today I want to talk about the FileCoin. Interesting situation here from a technical perspective. I really like this one. We're going to be waiting for the right moment to strike here. We're going to go in and we're going to go hard at this one. We're just waiting for the right moment to strike. Basically, price action came off. I mean, you're looking at the weekly chart, right? Let's start with that. Going back all the way to late June, that's where our price action began to stabilize. Up until late June, for a long time, there was a big bear cycle, right? Coming from the highs of almost 12. That was back in March, early March 2024. So for probably a good 4 months, right? Price action came from almost 12 to the lowest low of 3.24. So that's a huge drop and a huge loss in value. But I was that back then, and ever since late June, we see price action kind of bottoming out. That's what we call the bottoming out process, where price action basically starts to stabilize its movement, right? Instead of going south, it starts to trade sideways. And it does that in a very defined range. We were able to capture that range with our support and resistance key level system here. And you can clearly see, this is the interesting part, right? So price action came from the bottom back in early August, right? There was a nice spike here and it started to turn around. That came after a one leg that went up and a second leg that went all the way down. That was the spike, and then turning around was supposed to start producing the third leg, going back up to the upper part, the upper section of that range. And it started well, started to push through, went up, got as close, very close to the upper section, but missed it by a small margin. And then went for a downside move that lasted for a couple of weeks. But here's the interesting part. You can see that green line that I marked here. That line represents the Fibonacci last line of correction, by definition 76.4, right? By the way, measured on the previous upside move from the bottom all the way to the top, 76.4 right here. And I kept it here because that was a strong indication, very strong indication, that those couple of weeks when it was on the back foot was nothing more than a technical correction, meaning the next move is going to be an upside push to a higher high. And most likely, this time, finish the job by landing at 446 at the very minimum, probably even penetrating into the higher section. I think we'll take the previous high just as well. Previous high, previous major high, I'm talking about from late July, right? So it gave us that technical correction, started to turn around, and ever since then we were chasing that upside move. Very successfully, by the way. Last week, a strong technical correction, which is kind of expected after a 3-week move, pretty bullish move, right? All the way to the highs of 429. And then last week, big drop. But take a look at this. This is the interesting part here. It landed right across 362. So that's a big support area. Very strong support. Key level 362 was able to contain that negative momentum. It completely broke that negative momentum. Price action pulled back up even because it couldn't penetrate. Now this week, even though still kind of on the back foot, I don't think it's going to close the weekly session below 362. I think it's going to start pulling back as well and turn around and basically start to become positive at some point, and then push itself off of 362 into a higher high. In this case, pretty sure it's going to knock off the most important key level here, which is 446. Happens to be also, it's going to be our official profit target, right? So with this one, we're literally waiting with the finger on the trigger, waiting for the right moment to strike. Like I said, all we need here is for price action to come back up and start crossing back above 362. That will be the sign to jump in, right? That would be the trigger. We already got a confirmation from 362 holding last week. We just want to make sure it starts to turn around. Then we get a clear move all the way to 446, and later down the road, we're going to be talking about 507 just as well. All right, guys, so a lot to look forward here. I'm really excited to see how this is going to unfold. I'm going to come back, of course, to keep you posted. In the meantime, stay tuned to the next video tomorrow, same time, same place. Take care.